Do you have any issues driving today?
Well, my foot slipped off the clutch back there.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Chris with TRC with another feature, and it is a sick one today. Turbo LS wagon. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. So it's probably going to be a little bit tricky to hear this thing is loud, but it is sick. This is Nick, this is his wagon. So we just got into Mexico, about to do a couple hits and see how this thing feels. It's the first time in it really since the new changes, so here we go.
I drive a 1983 Toyota Corolla station wagon. It's got a iron block LQ4, 6-liter, the LS6 intake, comp custom grind cam. It's 228, 236 on the duration, 588, 601 on the lift. It's got a VS Racing 7575 turbo, as well as their wastegate and blow-off valve. It's got a custom cold and hot side fabricated by me, short runner on the intake because there's no intercooler. The exhaust was cut from a mandrel bent Walker piece that I got from a local auto parts store. It's all controlled with a Go Fast Bits G-Force 3 boost controller. All of my tuning thus far has been done by KK Performance. Stock crank, stock pistons, stock rods. It's got a trunnion bearing upgrade, LS6 intake. It's got Snake Eater Performance 1500cc injectors in it. It is running flex fuel E85. It made about 509 on pump gas on 10 pounds, I believe, and 709 and 715 on E85 at about 70%. And that was running about 15.5 pounds. It's got a Lingenfelter 2-step on it. wiring harness on, and it's all done through mil-spec connectors through the firewall. It's got a Tech Performance T56, got an MGW shifter in it, Monster single disc clutch and flywheel. It's got a Granny Speed Shot Hitmaster clutch slipper system. This helps alleviate some of the shock to the driveline, being a stick car, as well as helps improve 60-foot time. It's got a dynamic drive line here. It's got a Ford 8.8 rear end. It's been narrowed about 3.5 inches. It's got 410 gears with the factory Ford track lock. It's got custom rear brake calipers that I made for dual rear calipers for a staging brake. It's got regular Toyota leaf springs and factory Toyota style shocks. The front undercarriage is all Nissan S13. It's got narrowed lower control arms to match the AE72 chassis. Factory S13 knuckles. It's got a Injuku 5-lug conversion for the front wheels. It's got CX Racing coilovers with the AE72 top hats. It's got an Aeromotive fuel cell and A1000 pump that's been modified to use the factory fill door. The car has Weld S77s all the way around. It's a 17x6 in the front. I'm unsure of the offset as they were custom built for the car. It's got 15x8 in the back with a 6.5-inch back spacing. It's got some Yokohamas up front and Mickey Thompson ET Street R's in the back in a 275/50/15. Some other custom parts on the car. It's got a Griffin custom built radiator.
You having issues driving today?
Well, my foot slipped off the clutch back there. You know, if I would have gave it a little bit of gas, that was
So
probably
these
my
tires
fault.
on here and everything, you don't normally drive like that?
Not on the street, no sir. Put his hat back on, he's coming back. Oh, come on, don't have that ticket thing in his hand.
There's your license.
Thank you.
Just a warning, okay?
Alright, thank you, Jesus, for that. Woo!
Yeah, I cannot believe you got a warning, dude. Yeah, so how long have you had this thing?
I've had it for about 3 years now. Built it in a year, naturally aspirated 6-liter. Drove it for about 2 years in January of this year. I took it back apart for the turbo build. Finished that in about 3 or 4 months, doing all the fabrication myself. Got it retuned, and just been beating on it for the last couple of months. Really just fixing stuff that breaks at this point.
Yeah, because you just broke a rear end and a shock mount, a couple things you got taken out.
Yeah, so I shattered the gear set and the carrier, as well as the yoke. Got all that replaced, put 410 gears in it, put a new girdle cover on it, rebuilt a whole new rear end, dual rear calipers. Was doing some testing, broke a drive shaft, got that fixed, and here we are. So.
Yeah. And then what's that to the left there in the boost controller?
That is my timer for my slipper clutch.
Oh yeah, right. You just put the slipper clutch on it, so it's still trying to...
Yeah, it's still dialing that in. It's from Granny Speed Shop in Washington. Basically a hydraulic control valve that I can adjust down here, allow the clutch to slip as much or as little as I want, just to kind of help relieve some of that force from the drive line. Allows me to still run drag radials on a stick car, and
Dude, I can't wait to see when you get that dialed in, man. That's gonna be sick.
it's gonna be nice.
So what would you say is like your favorite thing about it? Like at this point, like I know it's probably changed, but it's...
My favorite thing about it is just no matter where I go, whether it be driving it around, car show, taking it to the track, it always garnishes attention just because it's different.
Yeah, you don't see it, man.
Yeah, not a lot of people dig up old 80s Toyotas and modify them. I mean, when they do, they're usually on a drift circuit.
Yeah.
And they kind of get beat up. This one is pretty beat up for just 35 years of life, but
it's got that, but it's like that natural age. Like it's not fake patina. It's just literally the perfect balance. I mean, and you literally got this out of somebody's back or front yard.
So about 4 years ago, I noticed on my way to work every day that there was a TE72, which is the body style before this one. Really just the headlights changed. I was sitting on the side of the road and I was talking to a buddy of mine about wanting to buy it. And we went back and forth so long about it that he kind of threatened me that he was going to go buy it if I didn't. So I immediately left work that day and went over and talked to the owner and bought it from him and started building that chassis, and kind of got in over my head with how extreme I was wanting to get it. And was driving down my road one day less than a mile from my house and actually found this one. Just looked over and it was sitting in the guy's yard. So I went back and talked with him, and he was actually about to scrap it. So he said, man, you give me what scrap price is, you can have it. Googled how much it weighed, multiplied the price times the scrap price, and got it for a $100 bill. So when I got so deep in the other car, I learned a lot. And this one, I brought it up to the shop, blew it completely apart to where it was just a shell, put it on a rotisserie, stitch welded it from front to back to really give it some strength. It had to have a custom built transmission tunnel. The firewall was still stock, but the extra width that it took to fit the T56, I had to kind of split the carpet. And I'm working with a guy right now to try to get a good custom fit carpet for it, because they're just not very easy to find, old Toyota carpet kits. So one of the questions that I get asked quite frequently is when I'm gonna paint it. I do work in the paint and body industry, but my goal for the car never was to have it be pretty. It was totally functional. I built the car to drive. It never was a drift car or a drag car. It was a driver. I wanted something that I could hop in, go get the groceries, cruise around town, take it to the drag strip, have some fun. And it's just kind of evolved into more of a race car. So, it's got dents, it's got dings, it's got a hole in the driver's side door. And I always tell people that if I fix it, then how is the water gonna get out? Front to back, it's been all new parts, all custom painted and powder coated by myself. I've had an instructor when I was in college that one of our first assignments was to build a 4-inch cube out of foam core board and have absolutely no glue showing, no edges, and that was to teach you craftsmanship. So when you look underneath the hood, when you look underneath the chassis, it is I tried to be as thorough as I could to make it clean, simple, just because that goes a long way. Craftsmanship is something that you don't see a lot. It's only been to the track once since it's been turboed. It ran low 7s in 1/8 mile, naturally aspirated, but I'm hoping to carry those 7s onto the 1,000 foot, which is all we have here locally. A question I get asked all the time is why I chose the Corolla chassis. And my response is always, well, how many of them do you see driving around? And it gets people thinking, it's a pretty rare car, so that's what makes it a little bit more unique than a lot of other things that get turned into project cars. Before I had the turbo and stuff on there, I went up to the local gas station, had it weighed, 20 gallons of fuel and me in it, weighed right at 2,800 pounds. So I'm guessing the turbo and all the accessories added maybe 80 to 100 pounds. Light car, big motor, good combination. Future plans for the car is a water-to-air intercooler. The intercooler's got just enough room to fit up front, and I'll put the ice box around back. Also, putting a cage in. I get a lot of questions about how safe it is to drive. It is sketchy. It's 36 years old, and that definitely needs to be there for safety as well as give a little bit more rigidity to the car. I have plans for building some other cars, and I'm on the search right now to find the next chassis.